Look, your chicken strips.
The Vine reference, okay.
Of course I did a Vine reference. Hello, spooky friends, and welcome back to Crypts and Corks, episode 6. I'm your host, DJ, here with my co-host,
Paul, as usual.
Paul, first of all, I would never, ever want you to fuck your chicken strips because I know how much you love chicken.
Lord knows, if there's one thing I love in this world, it's chicken nuggets. And that brings me to my story for how my week was, actually.
Fabulous, I was just about to ask you.
Because, if you all remember, last week I had a lot to say about DoorDash and Uber Eats and all of the food delivery services. Well, I actually fell victim to them this week. DoorDash had a good old sale on chicken nuggets, and between me, you, God, and all the people watching, I had 60 chicken nuggets this week because I was a victim of DoorDash's sale.
I am so jealous. Truly.
Honestly, it was amazing because those nuggets are everything, and I have so many sauces now.
Where were they from?
McDonald's.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, McDonald's.
It's okay. You might have said that and I might have just been being a dumb bitch.
No worries. But yeah, so I had a lot of McDonald's this week, which was probably a poor choice. And Taylor Swift released her version of 1989.
She did. Oh, yeah, that reminds me. I need a picture of you because because like on TikTok, everyone's been doing their picture instead of Taylor's on the cover.
Of 1989?
Yeah, so I want to do a 1989 Crypts and Corks version.
Oh, yeah, we'll do that. Watch out for that, guys.
Yeah, we'll see if we can do it.
Right. So the Pop Bible is back and reclaimed by a mother. Thank God.
By Our Lady and Our Savior.
Yes, all hail.
Oh my God, not the salute.
How was your week?
Well, it was dominated by a funeral. Those of you listening, my grandfather died last week, and so this week was the funeral. But I will tell you that I lost some weight because the food was good, but it did something to my stomach, and we're just going to leave it at that. So I would kill for 60 chicken nuggets right now.
God, one of those ladies put some expired mayo in the potato salad or something.
I don't eat potato salad.
Oh my gosh, I love potato salad. Macaroni salad?
No.
Girl, get me up in that
mayo.
gig.
I don't like mayo.
Okay. I'm gonna have to quit this podcast right now because mayo is everything.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
Canceled. You grew up in, like, the whitest part of Pennsylvania, and you don't...
No. That is wrong. The entire middle part, which is Pennsylvania, that is the whitest part. Because if you go there, and you are not white, or not white enough to them, problems will happen. Because that is the Deep South. I don't know how the Deep South ended up in the middle of the state, but the Deep South is there.
That's very true. There are some really racist people in the middle of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I was talking with a friend, and I actually have to text her back because we started conversing, and then my grandfather kicked the bucket. But her and her roommate, who is a trans female to male man, they live in the middle of the state because he is from here in Pittsburgh. She is from closer to Philly. And we were talking, and she was like, yeah, we probably should move out of the middle of Pennsylvania just for his safety. And I was like, yes, very much that.
Honestly, I wouldn't feel safe there.
Well, speaking of remote backwaters places, Paul, can I tell you a story?
Just a quick one.
Oh, great. We're going to start with our paranormal pairing. Today we have a French wine. It is Cotes du Rhone Villages, appellation d'origine contrôlée. So this is a French wine from the winery of the Famille Perrrin. The back, the Perrin family has owned the Château du Beaucastel since 1909. Over the past 5 generations, the family has acquired not only great vineyards in the very best territories of the southern Rhone Valley, but also a great understanding of these terroirs. Cuvée is a blend of red varietals. The harvest is 100% destemmed. Fermentation and aging is done in concrete tanks, 75% in large oak vats, 25%. This wine pairs well with white and red meat, chili con carne, pasta, Mediterranean flavors, as well as all types of cheese.
I love a good cheese. Now, this wine sounds fancy, so my body might reject it.
Oh, Jesus.
Here comes.
Let's see if we can do a pop. I don't think I got it down. Oh, please don't go back.
You got this. I believe in you. So close. Girl, that was a long cork. I didn't know they made corks that long.
It's just a French cork.
Oh, oui. I don't know any French.
No, you don't. So story time about me picking this wine. You know what? I'm going to do the intro and then I'm going to tell the story. But First, I need a glass of wine because I dog sat for my aunt last night and I had to spend the night and the dog got me up at 5 a.m. to go pee-pee. Now that we had our ASMR pour, Paul, you look like you wanted to say something.
Yes, I grew up with dogs, so I know all about that dog waking you up to go to the bathroom life, and it really is a commitment. Like, you dog owners, it's like having a child. It's a whole commitment, girl, so more power to you.
It's worse than having a child. At least with a child, you can eventually potty train them.
Honestly. So, cheers. Okay. Okay. Gévaudan.
It's a very light red.
Are you happy to be in Paris?
Oui. All right.
That was a Beyonce reference, but this wine was actually really good.
Oh, thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. Let me do the intro and then I will tell you the story of me picking this wine.
Okay.
Paul, let me tell you a story and keep an open mind.
All right.
France, the 1760s. The time conjures images of glittering balls at Versailles, scientific experiments, and the shift away from the darkness of the past into the light of the present. But a creature that defied classification struck a remote region and struck fear into the hearts of ordinary folk and the king himself alike. But unlike a specter or a cryptid hiding just beyond sight, this creature was seen by thousands and killed over 100 people. Today, we will discuss the Beast of Gevaudan.
Okay, how do you say that? The Beast of who?
Gevaudan.
Gévaudan.
Gevaudan.
I'm gonna butcher that throughout the episode, so I'm gonna apologize now.
It's fine. Throughout the episode, I'm actually just going to refer to it as the Beast because that's far easier.
That's how all the twinks in Pittsburgh refer to me.
Yeah.
So
And I'm
relatable.
the demon twink.
Exactly.
So the reason why picking this wine was so hard was obviously this story takes place in France. So first thought was, so I went into Wine and Spirits today with 2 thoughts. I want a bottle with a wolf on it.
Mm-hmm.
Bonus points if it's French. So I started looking at the French wines. Nothing had a wolf on it. They did have one with a lion on it, but that was $25.
Ooh.
They did have one with a knight on it, which also would have worked, but that one was $33.
And we're budgeting, girl. It's rough in these streets.
So then I am walking up every single aisle looking for something to relate to this topic. And finally, in the last wine aisle, I found a bottle of wine with a wolf on it. It was $33, and I said, nope, we're going back to the French wine. And so...
It's a good one. I like it.
Is.
It's not too dry, not too sweet. Yeah, that's a good choice.
So the reason I picked this one came down to the fact that It says village on it, which is French for village.
Oh.
And this is very much a story about small rural villages.
Well, I don't know anything about this story, so I'm excited to learn about it. So why don't we dive on in?
Absolutely. Before I begin into the story, I have to give a trigger warning, our first one of the podcast.
Ooh.
This story contains descriptions of blood and gore. Listeners, please be advised.
Period.
So let's begin with where Gévaudan is. Gévaudan is a former province of France located in south central France. The region is very mountainous. It actually contains 4 different mountain ranges. The areas that are flat are, at this time, are mostly farmland. So large pastures, woods, but it also has a lot of little swamps. So one minute you can be walking across a field and then suddenly you're sinking in a bog.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And the story begins in 1764. France had just lost the 7 Years' War to Britain, lost almost all of its colonial territories, including Canada. And it suffered a huge blow to the country's economy. So this is a really bad time to be in France. And the area was described by one article in Smithsonian Magazine as it is just the perfect setting for a Grimm-style fairy tale.
Okay.
It's very far away from Paris and Versailles, which is where the king had his palace and the court lived. Very much regarded as a backwater, very remote, very mystic. Nature has not been tamed yet. So think about that as we get into our first story. A young shepherdess was watching her herd of cattle in the Mauquois forest near Longuejon. And she had the sense that someone or something was watching her. Finally, she turned around to see something that was, quote, like a wolf, yet not a wolf. It was huge, broad-shouldered, had a flat head and a snout, was reddish in color but with a long black stripe down its spine. She was horrified and when it pounced at her, which at this time, wolves, she's a shepherdess. She is used to wolves, but wolves are normally interested in livestock, but they're very fearful of people.
Yeah.
So the fact that it attacked her, but not the cattle, is bizarre. So it's tearing at her clothes, and she manages to wiggle out from under it. And she's fleeing, and she's like, this thing is huge, this thing is fast, I'm a goner. When suddenly the cattle actually formed a wall between the beast and her. And the animal charged at them, and the cattle did their cattle thing and kind of brushed it off. And the animal backed up and tried to pounce again. Not for the cattle. It does not want the cattle. It wants this girl. And it pounces again, and the cattle fight it off, and it goes running into the woods. So already here we have an animal that is just so unlike anything anyone knows of. It's not interested in livestock. It's not fearful of the human. It's huge. It's red. It's wolf-like. Super weird.
It's like that day's version of a furry.
Yeah. It was quickly dubbed Le Bête, which is French for the beast.
Ooh.
Now, if you do further research, a lot of sources refer to the beast as she, and that's because Le Bête in French is one of those languages where everything is either masculine or feminine.
Okay, yeah.
And Le Bête, if you can't hear, it's la, not le, which means it's feminine, therefore they assign it she. I will be referring to it as either the beast or it, because we don't know what it was.
Girl, we're getting a whole French lesson today. Girl, Rosetta Stone is quaking. You're about to take all their business.
Oh my god, no. I am sure that I am going to mispronounce so many things in this because I haven't done proper French in years. So we're going to move on to a young girl named Jeanne Boulet. On June 30th, 1764, she was killed by the beast.
Oh.
They found her... Oh, I don't know how to describe it. I want to say desecrated, but that kind of makes it sound like she was dead and then they did something wrong to it. They found her in a field where she had been tending her livestock. She was a young girl, and she was nearly decapitated because her rib was ripped out.
The throat. Yeah, her throat was ripped
but
out.
other than that, other than the near decapitation, her throat being missing, nothing else was missing. The beast did not eat her.
So it was just killing just to kill.
Exactly. She was buried the following day without a funeral.
Oh, dang.
And on hallowed ground, because she did not have time to make a last confession, which is the shittiest part of this entire story.
That's awful. I'd be so mad. What did you want homegirl to do? Be like...
But we know this because her death was actually recorded. And it was recorded as being killed by the ferocious beast.
Oh my gosh.
And she was therefore the first official victim. Now, if you notice, the fact that she was recorded as being killed by Le Bête Féroce, which means the ferocious beast, it might have been that there were other victims who were lost to history because they were not recorded as being killed by this specific beast.
Okay.
Throughout August, a further 3 children, 2 girls and a boy, were killed. In September, a further 3 people were killed.
Like all the same way, throat ripped out? Or?
Mm-hmm. So we have a pattern here. If this was a serial killer, which we'll get into that later. The beast continued to prey on people who were alone in fields or paths or in the woods. Some men, mostly women or children. The beast seemed to only attack the head or neck. All victims had their necks ripped out or their heads gnawed off. Otherwise, they were not eaten at all. There was also a widespread belief that the beast was capable of extraordinary or supernatural feats, such as walking upright on its hind legs, making impossibly large leaps, and being bulletproof.
They had bullets back then? Well, I guess it was the 17...
They did have bulletproofs, but I want to know how they figured this out at this point, because peasants were not allowed to have guns. That will come in later.
Okay.
But keep
in mind.
How did they know this? So, in December of 1764, it was actually thought there may have been 2 creatures as sightings and attacks occurred, or at least were reported simultaneously.
Oh.
So Gévaudan was like a county.
Mm-hmm.
And reports are coming in from different sides of the county.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that's just reporting, because reporting was a lot different back then, because you had to do couriers and runners and letters, or whether the beast was capable of going 50 to 100 miles and kill or attack 2 people in a day.
Right. I mean, I wouldn't doubt there was 2, because if it's an actual species of something, there would have to be more than 1.
Exactly. On December 31st, the Bishop of Mende, Gabriel Florent de Choiseul-Beaupré, Count of Gévaudan. So not only is he the local bishop, he's also the nobleman who is sort of...
in charge of it all?
Not exactly in charge, but this is his, this is the land given to him by his ancestors by the king. This is his region.
Okay.
This is his title.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also the bishop, which at the time, France was a kingdom and there were 3 estates. Society was separated into what was called the 3 estates. And it was the nobility, the clergy or the church, and the people.
Okay.
So, by that logic, this is like a big part of the society because they had political jurisdiction as well as religious. So, he called for prayers and penance. Do you know what penance is, Paul?
Yeah, it's like asking for forgiveness for your sins.
Yes. I loved how you were going to say atonement, and then I was going to have to say, like, can you explain for what people who don't know what atonement is? But yes, it's asking for forgiveness. And he cited the beast as being God's punishment for the sins and called for 40 hours of prayer over 3 Sundays.
Jesus, that's a whole full-time
That's a whole
job,
work
girl.
week. He said... Actually, he was pretty brutal. He actually said that all the children who were killed were killed by God's avenging hound for the sins of their parents.
Oh my god. The original hellhound. For real.
Shocker. The prayers did not work.
Well, look at that. The thoughts and prayers didn't work. How about that?
Really? So you're telling me that thoughts and prayers don't historically work? Can somebody please tell Republicans in Congress, please?
Right, learn from your history, pass it on, girl.
It is so funny how history repeats itself.
It is, it's crazy.
But we are coming to the part where the government does put aside thoughts and prayers.
Okay, that's good.
On January 12th, 1765, Jacques Portefeuille and 7 children were in a field tending to livestock when they were attacked by the beast. Now, at this point, we are easily 6 months into the attacks. So anyone who's going out, because this is a farming region, it's livestock. That's all you have. You can't be a financial analyst for a bank.
Right, exactly.
So, they have little makeshift weapons like knives attached to sticks. And the beast attacked them. And so what they tried to do was they tried to put their backs to one another and face outward so the beast could not surprise any of them. And so the beast is circling them and circling them. And finally, the beast actually attacks Jacques, bites off a piece of his cheek, and Jacques, despite being wounded, is able to fight him off. However, then the beast grabs another younger boy by the arm and begins to drag him towards the woods. And Jacques has some quick thinking in him. Now, mind you, he's missing a piece of his cheek, so he's bleeding profusely. Him and another boy herd the beast right into one of these little bogs. And the beast falls in and it's trapped. Unfortunately, the boy is trapped underneath of it.
Oh, he's dead. He's big dead.
So Jacques and the other boy begin to poke and prod with their spears at the beast until it frees itself and goes fleeing into the woods, and they're able to reach into the bog and get the other boy out. Injured, but alive.
Oh, okay. There you go, alive. You better work, Jock.
So at this point, at some point, these attacks went up through local government, to regional government, to the national government, which was the King Louis the 15th. And this attack actually got Louis a special attention. He actually awarded Portefeuille 300 livres and an education funded by the state.
He awarded education?
Education plus money.
For what?
For surviving an attack by the beast.
Oh, well, let me get attacked by the beast too. Pay for my college, girl.
And wait. And then he awarded a further 350 livres to be shared by the 7 other children.
Okay. If they were giving out money, you best believe you would catch me in those woods. It would be a shame if Mr. Beast were to come and attack me and I'd have to collect those funds. Oh, that would just be awful.
So, Paul, to go back to a second ago, remember when we were talking about thoughts and prayers, how they really don't work?
Yeah.
The king realized this and decreed that the state would intervene to kill the beast. But it took some time to do that because on February 11th, another girl was killed and partially devoured by the beast. By April, news of the beast had spread across Europe. The British took a special pleasure in mocking the French king as being impotent against the beast. Mind you, the French just lost a war against Britain, and now... Wait.
They're adding insult to injury.
Exactly.
Ooh, you can't...
This was really the rise of the widespread press. There was actually a newspaper for the region called the Courrier d'Avignon, which was more like a tabloid.
Mm-hmm.
And rather than just reporting local incidents, like local happenings, it sort of sensationalized everything, sort of like a true crime way.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where we get a lot of our reports, is from this Courrier d'Avignon, this newspaper.
What they're reporting is probably like hyped up to sell.
A little
things.
hyped up, yeah. But there are also government reports corroborating some of these facts, such as the reddish color of the fur, the black stripe. A lot of people described it like, in my mind, I'm imagining a wolf.
Yeah.
But some of them described it as having the tail of a lion and the head of a pig.
Oh my, see,
Which,
I don't know about all that.
so I'm taking that to mean like it has a shorter snout.
Oh,
That's what
okay.
I'm thinking.
That would make sense.
Like, I think if you like saw it running, you might think, oh my god, it has a pig's head. But if you saw it and it had that shorter snout, it's like a wolf, but not like a wolf.
Mm-hmm.
I can't explain the tail.
Yeah, who knows?
I never personally saw it, so I can't tell you.
Who knows?
The bishop of Mende, meanwhile, received hundreds of letters from across France with variously comical ways to kill the beast. He also issued a number of cardboard effigies of the beast to villages all around the region to train hunting dogs to attack it and to train villagers to run from it.
Oh my gosh.
I can't tell which part of that statement is funnier. Cardboard effigies or training villagers to run away from it.
That is wild. So they're going to gather them all in the square and be like, so you see this, you run. Let's practice now.
All I can think of, all I can imagine is that TikTok of the little kid who sees the bear and is like, can I pet that dog? Can I pet that dog? Can I pet that dog?
I can't say I've ever seen that.
You've never seen that one?
No.
All I can think of is this cardboard cutout.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm sure it was actually built like a wolf or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But all I can imagine is one of those stupid cutouts where you have to do the slots.
Mm-hmm.
And some kid being like, can I pet that dog?
Oh my gosh.
I should have looked up how to say that in French.
Oh my gosh, you should have.
I can't even remember how to say dog in French. I know cat and chat.
Le dog.
La chienne. Or
La chienne.
Chien.
I have the worst French accent. Girl.
Ma'am.
Are you really looking it up right now?
Yes.
Girl, we have a story to tell.
I can't say girl, ma'am, sis, and fresh. Fille. Madame. Sir.
There you go. You can say that next time.
Every time something dramatic happens, I'm just go, fille, madame, sir.
Make yourself seem worldly.
As I drink my French wine that I took 20 minutes to pick out.
Exactly. We're just cultured people.
But finally, the king did something other than thoughts and prayers.
Mm-hmm.
The king dispatched Captain Jean-Baptiste Duhamel of the Clermont Prince Dragoons to Gévaudan to kill the beast.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Duhamel was a veteran of the 7 Years' War, which, as I said before, Britain handed France their ass.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, their derrieres to them.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is quickly becoming, this is how we get our pride back. I'm going to kill the beast. I'm going to redeem myself.
Right.
I can't kill the British, but I can kill a dog.
Right.
He was extremely zealous in his efforts. However, not all of his efforts were quite... He arrived with 50 of his best troops, many of whom he made dress up as peasant women while they were hunting.
Oh my god, to lower the beast.
It's drag.
Oh my god, they were doing
drag.
They were doing drag in the woods.
I can just imagine like them sitting in the local fort, like, bring back my soldiers.
Oh my god. See, I just picture these men in the worst drag you've seen in your life just trudging through the woods.
I mean, you know, like, they're like trudging through the woods, and then it's like, oh, Jean-Luc.
Right.
I am the most beautiful woman. Why is the beast not coming to get me? And then proceeds to, like, reach up his skirt and scratch his dick.
Right.
Like, very much that. Probably, well, I guess beards weren't in fashion, but I would like to think some of them had beards.
Right.
The beast never fell for this.
Wow. Wonder why. They didn't have that feminine energy he was after.
Yeah. His efforts were also stalled by the fact that the locals were very non-cooperative with him. He was higher status than them. They were like, we're not going to help you. You're rich.
Oh, okay.
We are poor. We do not need your help.
Right. This is the land of Les Mis, okay?
Do you hear the people singing the song of angry men? It is the music of a people who will not be slaves again.
I like how we both said Les Mis. Like, just our brains both went there.
You said Les Mis. I just started singing it because I have a theater degree.
Yeah, she's a theater gay. I can't relate. I was in one play and I was music student number 2.
Oh my gosh.
Well, it was a musical, but either way.
But you know what, Paul? The most important part of any production is the ensemble. As Duhamel found out, because without the villagers, he was fuck out of luck.
Oh, I like how you tied that in there.
Thank you.
That was good.
Yeah, because his guards, like, he's the captain, like, every time, he managed to get several shots off at the beast, but his guards kept getting in the way trying to protect him.
Oh my gosh.
And at one point, he actually had the beast cornered. But the villagers of Le Malzeau, who were to aid him, never showed up.
Oh.
And the beast escaped across the river. Remember earlier I said peasants weren't allowed to have guns?
Mm-hmm.
So him and his soldiers showed up with a bunch of guns because they were soldiers. And the only groups that were allowed to have soldiers were aristocracy or higher, so nobles, the king, his family, or soldiers. So Duhamel is really telling these people, yeah, like, we have guns, but, like, can you come help us with your sticks?
Right. Like, what are they gonna do with their freaking sticks?
So, like, I too would sit at Le Pub, drinking Le Vin, and being like, oh, pretty soldier boy, what are you going to do now?
Oh, right, honestly. But honestly, you probably catch me hanging out with the soldiers, trying to move up a bit in the world, you know? So
You'd
myself.
be like, oh la la, I am Le Bottom. I am Le Passif. That's how you say bottom in French.
Oh, I'm le passif if you pay enough.
I forget. You'd think that top is like le agressif, I think.
L'aggressif.
Yeah, the aggressive or active.
Active.
The active and the passive.
Okay. Well, I'll keep that in mind if I ever go to France.
I am le passif. Well, except you're active.
Yeah.
I'm passive.
There we are. Period.
Before any of you start writing fan fiction, ain't gonna happen, never happened, ain't gonna happen.
Yes, we are strictly friends.
Strictly platonic.
Platonic dolls.
And Paul is not one of the friends that I would give head to. Sorry, right. Paul. I love you too much.
Rest in peace.
So the king then sent 2 professional wolf hunters, Jean-Charles Marc-Antoine Vosmelet d'Anvers and his son Jean-François, who because they're both Jean, I'm going to call them Charles and Francois, or Jean-Charles and Jean-Francois. Danival, that's how you say it, Danival, and Duhamel differed greatly in their approach to hunting for the beast and did not see eye to eye at all. Duhamel wanted to organize large hunting parties to track and corner the beast. Basically, he was doing things like a soldier would do it. He wanted battalions to go into the woods and do battle on the beast.
We're gonna do battle on the beast. Iconic.
Danival believed that to kill the beast required stealth and a sneak attack, basically stalking the animal into the woods and then getting it when it was most vulnerable because it wasn't...
Going after, like...
Yes,
attacking.
It wasn't running away. It was just doing its thing. By this... Captain Duhamel was forced to stand down and return to his barracks at Clermont because he had a shot. He basically embarrassed himself. He shot the bed. And could you imagine, like, losing this major war and just having your ass handed to you and then having your ass handed to you by a wolf?
Right. At that point, just don't go home, okay?
Like...
Hang it up, girl. It's time to retire.
So the father and son team of Jean-Charles and Jean-Francois came with 8 bloodhounds and spent 4 months hunting Eurasian wolves, which are common to the area, believing one of them to be the beast. However, the attacks continued despite the number of wolves they did kill. And in June, the pair were dismissed by the king.
Ain't no one having any luck with this beast.
No, and like that's the thing, like they're killing wolves. And, like, even, like, the local leaders, every time a peasant would kill a wolf, they would get a little bit of money and be like, okay, are we good? Ah, shit, another little girl got ate.
Ugh, that's rough. I would be so mad, like, putting in all this effort, and then it just keeps happening. It makes you wonder, like, maybe they were, like, making it keep happening so they could keep killing the wolves and keep getting money.
We'll come back. Keep that in mind for later. They were replaced by Francois Antoine, who is the king's lieutenant of the hunt. What is a lieutenant of the hunt? Francois Antoine was personally responsible for loading the king's gun on hunts. So this guy went hunting with the king. Like, every time the king went hunting, he went with him. He was also a very skilled huntsman himself. Like, you don't become the lieutenant of the hunt by not being good at hunting.
Right.
He was actually 70 years old at this time and going to this rural region of France to kill this beast. On August 11th, he organized a huge hunt to search for the beast. On that same day, Marie-Jean Vallet was crossing a small bridge with other peasant women, including her sister, when the beast appeared. The woman backed away, but the beast lunged and actually tackled Marie-Jean. Marie-Jean struggled with the beast and managed to thrust a homemade spear into the beast's chest. The beast rolled off of her, fell off the bridge, and fled into the woods. She still had the spear, which was covered in blood and fur and whatever. And Antoine heard this and quickly came to her, examined it, and said, that, like, you got at the beast. She was proclaimed a heroine, and Antoine actually compared her to Joan of Arc.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He actually bestowed upon her the title of the Maid of Gévaudan, which Joan of Arc was the Maid of Orleans.
Okay.
So she became like a huge celebrity over this.
Right, she was the hero.
If you go to, I forget what part, so Gévaudan is actually now called Lozère. But if you go to, I think it's like the administrative region, there's a castle that was like the administrative heads. And out front, there is a statue of her thrusting the spear into the beast.
Oh, wow. She got a whole statue,
She got
girl.
a statue.
Oh, my God.
Only 2 people in the story got a statue. Well, Louis XV got statues, but he was the king. He got statues for other things.
Right, exactly.
He got it because he got lucky at birth. Like, I could have been born a king.
Right, any one of us could, but unfortunately...
Unfortunately, I was born...
a yinzer.
You wash your whore-ass mouth out.
That's not a bad...
It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. I just wish that I was born into, generational wealth and didn't have to work.
And for those of you at home who might not know what a Yinzer is, that is what you call someone who is native to Pittsburgh.
Yes, because apparently in Pittsburgh, rather than saying y'all or you all, it's yins. I do not.
Yins, guys.
Please stop, it's hurting me. So that was in mid-August. In late September, near the Abbey of Chaz... Oh, shit. So I had computer trouble because I was staying at my aunt's. Mm-hmm. My computer crashed because the Wi-Fi was not very good.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to forcibly restart my computer, and I had more detailed notes.
Mm-hmm.
And now as I look at these notes, some of them didn't autosave.
You know, what can you do? But while you're looking that up, I really have to hit the people with this one.
Oh, God.
And I hope you're ready for this. Oui, je m'appelle Rafayette. Something. I don't know the rest of the lyrics, okay. But shout out to Hamilton.
And, I kept saying this phrase in my head to remember it, and of course I forgot it because we're drinking wine. And I'm also on a diet trying to lose weight, which does not help. Anyways, near the Abbey of Chazay,
mm-hmm.
in the region, Antoine managed to kill a large gray wolf that was 4 feet, 7 inches long and weighed 130 pounds.
It's a pretty big wolf.
He actually stumbled upon her. It looked at him, and he said, "This is the beast. It's huge. It's red. It has the black stripe." He shot it through the eye.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And the gun he was using was so powerful, he was knocked flat on his ass. And he sits up, and he sees the wolf stand up. And his nephew and his son come, and they both shoot the wolf. And finally, the wolf fell.
Mm-hmm.
So there were, later on, there was huge outcry over whether Antoine himself killed the wolf or whether the glory should go to his son or his nephew. We're going to give it to Antoine. Antoine declared he had never seen a wolf so large, therefore it must be the beast. Several witnesses testified it was indeed the beast based on markings, like defensive markings, including Marie-Jeanne, the maid of Gévaudan, and her sister who was with her. Antoine loaded on the horse and sent it to Clermont-Ferrand, where Duhamel and his barracks were, and had it stuffed. On October 1st, it arrived at Versailles and was presented by Antoine's son to the king and the court, and Antoine was declared a hero.
Mm-hmm.
Antoine, meanwhile, stayed behind in Gévaudan and managed to track and kill a large female wolf and 2 of her pups.
Oh, not the pups.
And the pups. In November of that year, Antoine returned to Paris to much fame and reward. And all was peaceful until December 2nd, when 2 boys were attacked by the beast. The beast attempted to capture the younger boy and drag him into the woods, but the older boy fought him off. Sightings and attacks continued.
Girl, this is the never-ending story. They just keep on going with these attacks.
Yeah, we're going into year 2 now.
Right. People just keep dying. Ain't
At
nobody
the beginning
safe in these
of
streets.
1766, the king was informed. He was annoyed, and he was bored of this story. His huntsman had killed the beast, and he ordered all newspapers in France to not print any more stories about the beast.
Wow, the first suppression of media.
Well, not the first. Up until this point, there was none. So, it was really easy to suppress something.
Jeez.
Because it was literally, Paul, you tell the secret, I swear to God, I'll kill you. I'll kill you dead, I swear.
And that worked back in those days, girl.
Wait, what is it? I love it. I love it because, from The Color Purple. I loves me Harpo, but I kill him dead before I let him hits me. Oh, Oprah's such a good actress.
Yeah, I've never seen that movie. I'll have to give it a good old watch.
It's Whoopi Goldberg and Oprah.
I love both of them.
Oh my God. But it's a sad, it's a sad movie. Mm-hmm. It's a sad movie. I don't want to get into it, but it's such a good movie.
Well, I like sad movies, so I'll give it a good old check out.
And actually, so it was a novel, and then they turned it into a movie, and then they turned it into a musical, and now they're turning that into a movie.
Oh, okay. I'll have to check it out. Get up in the gig.
Yeah, but like watch the movie with Whoopi Goldberg, and it's not a comedy. Whoopi's not funny.
Mm-hmm.
Like in this. She's not funny. It's a very serious movie.
Okay, cool.
So, the people of Gévaudan are alone. By March, the attacks multiplied. Local nobles assembled to come up with plans. They set out the corpses of the victims to try and lure the beast out. The beast would not come out.
Mm-hmm.
So they then began putting out the corpses of dead dogs with poison in them for the beast to feast on. The beast did not come out.
Oh, I hope he comes out soon.
All the people of Gévaudan could do was pray. And actually, in some regions, they actually retreated from the villages into, like, local castles. And, like, they just abandoned their lives, their livestock, because they're getting killed. In the beginning of 1767, we're going into year 3. The attacks dipped again before resuming in the spring. So are you seeing a pattern?
Oh, okay.
Every winter, they kind of dip off and then they pick up in spring.
Mm-hmm.
At this time, the population were beginning to make regular pilgrimages to Notre Dame de Ballieu, which was a local cathedral, to pray to the Blessed Mother to rid them of this beast.
Mm-hmm.
On June 18th, 19-year-old Jean Bastide was killed by the beast. The following day, the Marquis de Passier organized a hunt, which included 60-year-old Jean Chastel. Jean Chastel might have been a poacher. He might have served jail time. He might have been a werewolf. He was actually accused of being a werewolf at one time. But Chastel carried with him a shotgun and 2 silver bullets made of melted down medals of the Virgin Mary, which he had blessed by the local bishop. On the hunt, he saw the beast, stared it down, took his glasses off, put it in the case, put it in his pocket, lined up the shot, bang!
Okay.
And the beast fell.
Dang, he did it so smoothly.
The carcass was sent to the Château de Basque, home of the Marquis, and autopsied. Supposedly, the shoulder of Jean Bastide was found in it. However, wolves don't eat bones.
Mm-hmm.
And even if they did, they only last about 24 hours.
I can imagine.
So, that's probably made up.
Right.
It was then rudimentally taxidermied and shown off by the Marquis, who then sent the remains to Paris to be shown to the king. The king rejected it, as this was the height of summer. It was crudely stuffed, and it was beginning to rot. And it was subsequently buried in a local house's garden, which was then torn down in the early 1800s.
They really didn't take much care with this whole carcass thing. If it was killing all these people, you'd think they'd know exactly where it was buried, what was doing, what was done with it.
But remember, the king said the beast was killed like a whole year ago.
Oh, so they had to keep it on the down low.
But here's the thing about this sighting. There was never again an attack made by the Beast of Gevaudan after Jean Chastel killed that animal. So let's get into some of the common theories.
Okay.
An actual wolf. So it could have been a species unusual to the area. Actually, fairly recently, a professor put forward that it could have been an Italian wolf, which is very different looking and acting to the wolves native to France. It also could have been a lone wolf that was rejected by its pack, or even a wolf affected by rabies, which would explain the attacks for not food.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
But it doesn't explain why it continued to go for the throat rather than just going for any wet. Like, the only marks other than, like, the decapitation or the throat getting ripped out would be defense wounds. Like, you're trying to fight it off and you're getting scratched and bit on your arms. So this thing isn't, or if it grabbed you and pulled you away.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like it's too regimented.
Okay.
It's too perfect.
Yeah.
So we're going to go into a lion or a tiger.
Okay.
So think about it. Both have very short snouts.
Yeah.
But are sort of, if you've never seen a lion or a tiger, you could kind of say that's kind of wolf-like if you see it from a distance.
And they are big animals.
And they are big. Oftentimes they're bigger than wolves.
Mm-hmm.
They did have zoos back then, both public and private. Maybe one escaped.
Maybe.
However, they did have zoos back then.
So people probably knew what it looked like then.
Yes, people know what it looked like. And also, I don't know of any large cat that is red with a black streak down its back.
Yeah, I don't know many wolves that are like red with a black stripe either.
No. A cryptid. As I mentioned before, the area of Gévaudan is very mountainous. And it's actually home to many extinct volcanoes. So there's like this whole theory about like lava tubes being used as tunnels. Maybe one of them was a tunnel to hell, and this was a hellhound.
The first hellhound girl.
A werewolf. All throughout history, there is a lot of stories of werewolves throughout all of Europe.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, Jean Chastel, who killed the beast, was actually accused at one point of being a werewolf himself.
Mm-hmm.
A hyena.
Hyena. Okay, yeah, those are a little more reddish.
Those are a little more reddish. They do have black along their back.
Yeah.
They do have a very short snout.
I could see it.
And they are a canine, which is related to the wolf. So you would look at it and you'd go, that kind of looks like a wolf, but it's not a wolf.
But they're not as big as wolves, I don't think.
They are not. And also, they have a very distinct laugh. I think you would hear about like that happening.
Exactly.
Which gets me into a hybrid. Perhaps the beast, like everything said, the beast was wolf-like, but not a wolf.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps it was a mix between a wolf and a dog, or a dog and a hyena.
Mm-hmm.
Which there are dog-wolf mixes out there, where you can train them like a dog and whatnot. There is actually one documentary which introduced me to this topic, but I could not find it to use as a source for this.
Mm-hmm.
But the theory that it propositioned was that Jean Chastel himself had either a wolf-dog mix or a hyena wolf mix or a hyena dog mix that he had trained to attack on command. Because Jean Chastel, like I said, allegedly he was once in prison for poaching.
Mm-hmm.
So what perfect way to distract from your illegal activities than a monster?
Right, exactly.
And another theory was that there was a serial killer in the region who basically perpetuated the story of a beast to hide his killings. For 3 years, the Beast of Gevaudan terrorized the people of that region. But that terror remains. How is it possible for a creature to have been seen so much, to have caused so much death, to have changed history, and not be identified? Whether canine, or feline, or devil, the memory of the beast lives on, despite its final destruction with the silver bullet, and it still strikes fear into those who hear its story. Paul, Smash or Pass, Marie-Jeanne Vallée, the Maid of Gévaudan.
Okay.
That was the girl who speared the beast.
Oh, well, Smash. She seems like a badass. She seems like that day's version of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and I'm here for that. I love a good heroine. I love a girl in power. We are smashing for sure.
I loved how you said okay, and I was like, why is he saying okay? And I'm about to say something that I realized in the story. All the girls are either Jean or Marie-Jean.
Right.
And all the men are Jean.
Right, so I was like, who is he talking about? I don't speak French. All the names sound really familiar. What is going on?
I mean, I think in this instance, the only correct answer would have been, like, no matter who I said, it would be we.
We? Oh my gosh. But back to the theories. What I think. I think it might have been a hellhound, actually.
Okay.
I do like the serial killer theory, but I think the beast was just spotted too many times, and there's too many accounts of seeing the beast and having it autopsied for it to be a serial killer.
Yes.
Maybe at like some point, maybe someone was killing people, like, and framing the beast. Maybe they were taking advantage, but I do think there was a beast.
Yeah, there was definitely a beast. I don't like the ultimate beast, obviously lost to history. And that documentary, and I can't remember if it was History Channel or Smithsonian Channel. They tried to sort of track down the remains.
Yeah.
It lost to history, and it's
right.
But like, also, I want to know. So the one that Antoine had killed, that was called Le Loup de Chazet, which means the wolf of Chazet. That was preserved, and I think that was lost too, because France has undergone a series of revolutions in its history.
Right.
So I think in one of the revolutions it was lost, especially as it was given to the king. A lot of those artifacts were destroyed during the revolution.
Jeez, that's rough. We have lost so many things due to war and just like so many important things we've lost to history. It's crazy. One thing I do want to add is that the beast is the original throat goat. Kim Petras is quaking.
Oh my god. That's so much funnier than what I was going to say, because I was going to call it a murder puppy.
A murder puppy.
But yeah, it is.
Oh, that makes it sound so cute. I want a little murder puppy.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. Like, and it's around Halloween time too, so it'd be like the perfect time to get a little murder puppy and just like parade it around and things. I wish my landlord let me have pets, but you know. Whatever. What can you do? You know, I'll get a little... Honestly, at this point in my life, I am more focused on my career and twinks. And that's just is what it is. I'll get a little kitty one day when I have more like time to focus on pets and things. You know, life is just so busy. I have to go to clubs. I have to go see drag queens. Like, there's things I got to do, and I just don't got time for a little murder puppy right now. But you know, one day... And I'm waiting for the cat distribution system to get to me, because I could have a little kitty, right? But the cat distribution system hasn't gotten to me yet. And I'm waiting because I know one day I'm going to be walking down the street and there's going to be some little poor stray kitty that's going to walk up to me not knowing what's about to go down. And I'm going to snatch that little kitty off the street and it's going to be mine, okay? But enough about my...
I know, I was just letting you go off. It was just really, really...
stream of consciousness. What's going on these days and what I'm doing. What's up?
I was trying to look for a carcass that the Chazet.
Yeah, if they have it, they have it.
No, it's
if
not. But like, I found this picture and it was like of this horrific wolf-like creature that was not quite wolf-like. And I was like, is that it? And like, I couldn't...
That was just my dad, and I would appreciate it if you didn't speak of him like that.
Sorry.
It's not okay. We're canceling you. DJ's canceled from now on.
Kind of
Spread
like
the word.
Beast.
Wait, the Beast is canceled?
Yeah.
I mean,
the
it's
king
dead.
himself was like, I'm going to send my personal huntsman to kill it. My sources were the Astonishing Legends podcast episode on the Beast of Gevaudan, the Unexplained Mysteries episode on the Beast of Gevaudan, an article in Smithsonian Magazine, an article on History Channel, and Wikipedia.
Gee, you did all the research for this episode. You went to every source known to man.
So, like, because I was at a funeral and I also changed my topic yesterday morning. So, like, I used while I was at work yesterday, I was listening to the podcasts to sort of get it in my system. And then I used the Wikipedia article, and then I used the other articles to, like, fact check and also to supplement information.
Okay, nice. I like that story. I'd never heard of that beast before in my life, so it's interesting when you like pull up things I've never heard of before.
I know, and I love pulling up things you've never heard before because you do enjoy them, and I'm really afraid of the day when I pick a story that you've never heard of and you go, I hate this. Which I think I know what that episode's going to be.
Ooh. Well, I guess we'll see when it happens.
I'm going to put it out to the listeners right now so that we can take bets. It's going to be on the Titanic prophecies.
The Titanic prophecies?
Yes.
Oh my god.
I don't even... that.
Gee, we'll see what happens that episode.
I think I'm going to get to the end of it. You're going to be like, what in the living name of fuck?
Right? I'm going to be like, what is going on in here on this day? What? All right,
Paul. Well, thank you forever for joining us. Oh, so loyal listeners. Please follow us on all social media. We now do have all social medias up. We have a Facebook. You can find us at Crypts and Corks. We have an Instagram, which is at Crypts and Corks Pod. And now a Twitter, which is at Crypts and Corks.
Yes.
If you manage to only find one, I do think I posted the link tree in all of them. If you have personal stories or story suggestions, please email us, cryptsandcorks@gmail.com. Paul, where can the listeners find you?
You can find me on my personal Instagram at Paul Ember, PAULEMBER. And if people are on the dark webs, where can they find you?
And you can find me at DJ Chessie Powers on Instagram. Please don't find me on Facebook because I don't post anything there anyways.
And we won't add you.
And
that's
also,
for friends and family.
Don't find me on Twitter because I only use Twitter to look at news and memes.
And that's not, I didn't mean we aren't friends and family here. We are friends and family on the pod.
We are all friends here. We will be setting up a Patreon shortly. The Patreon is just to do hosting fees and to cover the cost of bottles of wine. So eventually we can get that $33 bottle of wine.
Exactly. And you know what? The bottle of wine we have now, it's cute. It's yummy.
It is very fancy for being bottom shelf.
Right. It was good though. But one thing about me is I'm gonna drink a bottle of wine, honey. I love some trashy, low-grade wine.
Well, no, it's not bad. When I say bottom shelf, I don't mean it's bad wine. I mean it was on the bottom shelf at the liquor store.
I got you. Yeah,
they actually do in the liquor store. The expensive ones are on the top shelves. I thought that was a myth.
No, it is on the top shelf.
All right, spooky friends. Until next time, keep your crypts tight.
And your corks loose.
Bye.
Bye.